Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel Adventures in America. If you are new to my channel, my name is Jocelyn, and for today's topic we are going to discuss the reopening date in the Philippines and what will be the new immigration entry requirements for foreign nationals wanting to visit the Philippines for tourism purposes. But before we get started, please like this video, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. There was actually two press releases from the Bureau of Immigration. One was issued on November 8th, and the Bureau of Immigration is getting ready for the Philippines reopening to international tourists. The Bureau of Immigration assured that it is ready for the eventual reopening of the country's borders to foreign tourists amid the continuing decline in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country. According to the Bureau of Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente, our frontline officers at the airports are ready and prepared, and we assure the traveling public of uninterrupted service should they decide to travel to the Philippines. The Bureau of Immigration issued a statement after Press Secretary Harry Roque said during a press briefing that the Philippines will reopen to international tourists in due time. Roque said that while Metro Manila's shift to Alert Level 2 from Alert 3 is very encouraging, the government will first have to observe the experience of other countries that have already reopened to foreign tourists. Also, Harry Roque said that the government is studying calls to expand its green list of territories whose travelers are no longer required to undergo facility-based quarantine upon their arrival. Now, in another press release by the Bureau of Immigration on November 9th, the Bureau of Immigration is relaunching eGate. The Bureau of Immigration announced it will soon relaunch its electronic gate system or eGate project for Filipinos arriving from abroad in order to fast-track the immigration processing time for travelers and avoid long queues at the airports during the coming holidays. There are several indications that the Philippines might be ready to reopen for foreign nationals. However, there are several questions that needed to be answered when Philippines finally reopens. Will foreigners be required a 9A visa before visiting the Philippines, or will the visa on arrival be restored once the Philippines reopens? Second, if a 9A visa will not be required, will foreign parent or foreign spouse of Filipino nationals be exempted from the 9A visa requirements currently in place? And the third question is that will the Philippines implement the new immigration law when it reopens? Now let me show you the most likely travel health protocols for foreign tourists when Philippines finally reopens. Now I'm putting together different scenarios for foreign travelers who wanted to visit the Philippines for tourism purposes. Let's say that the visa on arrival has been restored and only vaccinated foreign tourists are allowed, then a 72-hour negative test before arrival in the Philippines will be required. In addition, if the visa on arrival is restored or implemented again, unvaccinated foreign tourists can enter, and also 72-hour negative test will be required in addition to the pre-booked hotel for 5 or 7 days. Now, let's say for example that the visa on arrival is still suspended. A 9A visa will be required upon entry, and let's say only vaccinated foreign tourists are allowed, then a 72-hour negative test before arrival in the Philippines will still be required. Another scenario is that if there is no visa on arrival, a 9A visa will be required, and for unvaccinated or unvaccinated foreign tourists, a negative COVID test before arrival in the Philippines will also be needed, in addition to the pre-booked hotel of either 5 or 7 days, depending on the country you're coming from. Okay, let's talk about the due date when Philippines finally reopens. There was actually a memorandum from the Bureau of Immigration that all Bureau of Immigration employees cannot take a vacation from December 1st until January 15 of 2022. Will Philippines reopen on December 1st? It could be a possibility. The reason is that there are a lot of Filipinos and foreign nationals wanted to visit their family and friends in the Philippines And there are a lot of foreign nationals who have fiancés in the Philippines and they wanted to be reunited during the holidays. Will Philippines finally reopen on December 1st? There could be signs that Philippines could finally reopen. When Philippines finally reopens and the 9A visa is required, so foreign tourists will have to acquire a 9A visa before traveling in the Philippines. If a 9A visa will be required for foreign nationals for tourism purposes, our Philippine consulates abroad or Philippine embassies will be swamped with a lot of applications for a tourist visa. So if you're a foreign national who has a fiancé in the Philippines, you must know the requirements for applying a tourist visa. I actually have a recent video on how to apply for a 9A visa here in the US. Second, if a 9A visa is not required and the visa on arrival has been restored and you have a fiancé in the Philippines, will you travel? Now, the distinction is between foreign nationals who are fully vaccinated and unvaccinated, or vaccination cannot be verified. Now, the green list, yellow list, and red list will still be implemented for purposes of quarantine requirements. So, meaning to say, if you're a foreign national or a foreign tourist coming from a green lane country and you are fully vaccinated, there will be no quarantine when you arrive in the Philippines. However, you will be subjected to a 72-hour negative COVID test before arrival in the Philippines. So please take note, if Philippines finally reopens and you are fully vaccinated, if the protocols will still be the same for green lane countries or yellow list countries, you will still be required to take a 72-hour test before arriving in the Philippines. Also, for Filipinos, you actually have more options than foreign nationals. Now, another consideration is if you are fully vaccinated, what proof of vaccination will be accepted in the Philippines? So, if you are a foreign national and the Philippines finally reopens, please make sure that you have an international certificate of vaccination so you can provide proof of vaccination. Otherwise, you will have to quarantine for at least 5 days or pre-book a hotel for 6 days. In addition, the quarantine protocols for unvaccinated will still be the same for foreign tourists. Meaning to say, if you are unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or your vaccination cannot be verified, or you forgot or did not take a 72-hour negative test before arriving in the Philippines, you will have to quarantine for either 5 to 7 days. Now, please be prepared to pre-book a hotel ahead of time when Philippines finally reopens. Also, I have a video on how to pre-book a hotel and what are the rules in pre-booking a hotel in the Philippines for those eligible passengers. Please check out this video, and if you have any other questions, please post them in the comments below. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel, and if you have any other questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Also, if you recently traveled in the Philippines, please share your travel experience. Again, thank you guys for supporting my channel, and if you haven't liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.